everybody, it's Sunday, and because this week is special, I'm going live doing a workshop for about 10 days, talking all about how you can use yoga mastery. It's called the Yoga Mastery Workshop that I'm hosting in our private Facebook group called the Functional Yoga Medicine. I'm super stoked about talking about this topic. It's a lot more than yoga. Even though I talk about yoga mastery, yoga just means union to self. So I want you to think about yoga in the context of you, your body, your mind, and your soul. And I want that to be the bridge between you and your own identity as it reflects in your life's work, in the role that you play in life. So it's a little different way to think about things. I don't know if you know, but I'm in a coaching program with a very special coach. I'm learning so much about myself and asking questions that I was never able to ask. I'm constantly really taken back by how much I don't know. I'm also seeing a traditional Chinese medical doctor from Korea. He actually trained in China, but he's from Korea, and he's really re-identifying the diet and metabolites in the body based on you. So basically the essence of everything that we do is that it starts within. It starts on the inside. We can't adapt to the external environment, which is what we're indoctrinated to do. But I want you guys to always think about, when you think about functional yoga medicine, it's you showing up as your true identity in the role you play as the wellness consultant, practitioner, functional med doctor, yoga teacher, whatever that looks like for you, using that as the vehicle to do the job, the dharma, destiny, your life, why you're here on this earth, living here and now. As that plays out, you really have to go deep within. And I really do believe this year has been one of the most hidden blessings in our lives, because whether we know it, recognize it or not, there's been a conscientious shift. And at the start of the year, I can't tell you how excited I was about my business, where it was going, where it was, and trying to make things work with what I had. Little did I know, when things got shaken up in March and everything fell to pieces, that I would emerge with the new business model, with new people, new staff, but everybody fully aligned with everything that we're doing. It just makes my heart sing. And I can't help but to notice what a blessing that this year has been for me, to have that kind of clarity in my life and in my business and everything that I try to do. And so it's really edifying my relationships with my family, my childhood friends, the friends that I do have, with my spouse and my kids. It's just been an amazing year. And I can tell you that every single person that is represented within the functional yoga medicine, students and the team that are represented, they are just amazing souls. They're fully aligned, and it's far beyond what we're doing as a business, but we're all connected with the mission to achieve greater things. And we're really going deep within ourselves to get more, accomplish more. But it's not about fulfilling our own individual egos. We really, as a team, feel connected to do this work together. And that's just been such a blessing that we come together in this way. So anyway, all that aside, last week I spoke about identity versus role, that many of us operate from a place of a chosen role that we have adapted, that the role we've chosen are the professions that we choose, our social and personal roles that we've adapted as such, like our role as a mom, sister, a boss, co-worker, a friend. We have in our minds what that's supposed to look like. So we're able to adapt to it, and we adapt to it based on what we think the world is expecting of us, right? So for example, as a physical therapist, I had to wear a hat. There's a certain way that we talk, there's professional jargons, and there's a certain way that we do things. Even the CPT codes, the codes by which we bill the insurance companies, they're all the same. Different is true for registered dietitians, and I would have to take my physical therapy hat on to be able to belong with the registered dietitians over here. And sure enough, the language and the way we speak and the way we do things are very different. We're categorically adaptable to different roles. And then going into functional medicine, I was rubbing shoulders with MDs and DOs, and they think and act so differently. And so these are all things that I observe, but inside, within every single beings that I've met, there was something more. But we've adapted a role, and I found that many of us are reluctant to step out to be ourselves in that way in the world that we live, right? How we live, and to really get away from putting our guards down to be ourselves. It only happens in the comfort of our own homes. But functional yoga medicine is to empower you, really to elevate and then to empower so that you can embody being and doing your best and achieving the best version of you in this lifetime. Really getting anchored and aligned and true to your core values so that you can live out your Dharma is really what this movement is all about. It's not just about a program. It's not just about the certification. It's all about that, creating that movement and getting true to yourself. And of course, all the technicalities, all the things we're expected to know, including digital, social media, and all the marketing stuff that we're supposed to know, is all taught and shared, but those are all convoluted ways of getting to the bottom line. The bottom line is that our movement is all about getting you connected to your inner self and understanding that unless you're whole, unless you're elevated in an elevated state of mind and identity, as you step into the role of your profession, that you will only be marginalized, commoditized, and just be mediocre at best. And that's not why you're here doing the work you do in this lifetime, is what I am sort of nudging you to recognize, right? Our identity is so much deeper than that. It's the indoctrinated perception of who you believe you are, right? It's a perception of it. It's an illusion. We're typically not taught to think much about our identity. We are indoctrinated into focusing ourselves from the role we play in our lives. This is dictated by the cultural and societal norms, not to mention the educational system. The religious, cultural, societal, family values are what shapes us from an early age. And you're the byproduct of everything that you've been indoctrinated with. Knowing this, if you've been following me for a while, I'm about finding your true identity and your true voice that allows you to explore your core beliefs and values. Not one that you've adapted, but begin to think about why they are the way they are. And I want you to go through the process of uncovering yourself so that you can decide how you want to live your life going forward. Because we don't have to be attached to our past. The stories of the habitual cycles of stories that we tell ourselves that's conditioned us to be who we are today, that no longer has to bound us, is the magic that I want you to uncover for yourselves. You can recreate your future going forward and be very clear about who you are and why you do what you do. We all have a reason why we are here, living our lives. Many of us live our lives silencing the inner voice that nudges you forward to pursue your Dharma. So what is Dharma anyway, right? Dharma is a Sanskrit word that can be loosely translated as righteous living. The original word itself has a far deeper meaning than its direct translation. The ancient Hindu texts of the Vedas describe Dharma as an inner wisdom or a cosmic guidance that governs not only the individual, but the universe itself. For a person to follow her Dharma, all she needs to do is to follow that inner guidance. This is what we aim to move toward in our work together through the functional yoga medicine. And when we think about our human body, we think about all the external things like diet, movement, meditation, etc., and get lost in what those things are, right? The very little time and energy is given to our own internal compass and constitutions. Most of us have a box around us, a glass ceiling. It's self-imposed. It's the subconscious identity that runs our lives. It's the hardware that runs our life. If you think about the computer system, right? You've got the hardware, it's capable of certain things, but it's the software that you put into it or you download onto it that you get to do all the things. In the same way, the role we play in life is the software. The software can be updated from time to time, but unless the foundation, the hardware of our programming is in sync, anchored and aligned and true to our core with our software, we won't get the full capacity of what we can achieve from our role. This is why some wellness or practitioners or wellness or health practitioners are more successful than others, simply because they are able to have an expanded version of their identity that allows them to think bigger, to create better results in their respective roles. Every influential role model you may have in your industry, they decided that they could. That's the only difference between you and them. And as I mentioned, my coach, Jim Fortin, says that there are two models of performance. There's the have, do, be versus be, do, have. But we as practitioners, we're so stuck on doing more, doing, right? In order to have, we know that we have to do, and then finally we will be, right? If I only had enough money, I will do all these things to be an abundant person, is what we may tell ourselves. But he teaches us that no, it doesn't work that way. You have to be the version of you right now. And then from that place, you can continue to do what you want to do. And then have comes last, right? It's a flipped model that I want you guys to entertain, because my life is changing drastically and I'm seeing living proof of this. And I want to share this good news with you guys as well, because we're so locked up in our monkey minds and in this hamster wheel of life, and really thinking and misguided with all the things that we tell ourselves that are false representations of who we are. The truth is, you don't have what you want in life because you're not being what you need to be. Who you are being comes from your hardwired identity. But remember, I said we never get to think about our identity. So rather than being boxed into the role you're expected to play in your profession, think about what you want out of your career. Is it making an impact and making an abundant amount of money for you? Key is to ask yourself better questions. Ask yourself, who do I have to be to have the things that I want, right? That's how you start to reprogram your old identity into the new. You ask elevated questions, because Albert Einstein said that we cannot solve the problem at the same level that we created the problem. But we keep banging our heads up against the wall, thinking we're doing the same thing over and over again in that same state of mind, that aren't able to produce the result that we want, thinking that if we just get busy doing and not pay attention strategically to what it is we need to be doing, by elevating our thinking to really clearly see, like really get a bird's eye view of your life right now, that we won't get and achieve whatever it is that we're seeking to achieve. We can work as hard as we want right now, but we won't see the fruits of our labor. And so I want you guys to recognize that. I've been training yoga teachers for over 5 years now, and I can tell you that many think yoga as yoga teachers. They get so locked in and they limit themselves because they don't believe they can do what they believe they're available to do in their field. Many look to influencers and they already kind of put the white towel up to say, nope, that's not me, I can't do that. And then they defend their limitations, and they're so busy defending their limitations that when they hear people like me that says anything's possible, they get mad, upset, and then something gets triggered, and then all bets are out the door. So I want you guys to see these are all phenomenons that are very, very hidden to most of us. These are subconsciousness, right? Subconscious meaning it's just under the radar that we can't really uncover them unless you want to, right? And timing is everything. Sometimes we're blindsided. And if you asked me 5 years ago and we're having this conversation, I would be so far removed from this. But I remember earlier this year, as well as 2 years ago, as I set up to have my wellness practice being moved with new employees, new director, new yoga teachers, and everything else, I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I need to really get quiet to really decipher what it is I'm creating, right? Wherever I was, it's in Swanee, Georgia. I have a wellness practice. And I remember thinking, my goodness, Connie, if you continue to do and think you're going to create this, even though it was a successful business, I never really fully felt anchored and aligned with everybody in the business as well as what direction it was headed. There was so much dissonance within the organization that I chose to be blindsided by it, right? But all things like became revealed this year, and everybody, every beautiful soul that was involved in that business, they're all in their own path, but that's their best path. It was the best thing for everybody involved. And I truly feel compassion and gratefulness towards the experience that we've all had to sever our ties and go our own ways. And what we're left with now is what we're building with clarity, with a vision to really know what my Dharma is in my practice. And we're doing things very differently today. And I have no doubt that that's the Dharma that I'm meant to serve the world, right? And so this is because most people start with external factors. They look to the outside of themselves to dictate what they ought to do, how to show up. But in order to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve, you must be self-integral, be the driver, but not expect to be driven by the world, and be committed to your outcome and make it happen, because that's in your control. But first, you have to truly believe that anything you want in life is possible for you. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your identity? What are you being? And how are you showing up every single day? I want you to pause and really write this down. Are you busy doing the things and getting frustrated with limited results? Secret is to really understand that you must first be who you want to become here and now, and do the thing from that place so that you can have whatever you want to have in life. Nobody else can take that responsibility away for you, from you, or to you, whatever you want to believe. That's not true. The driver is within you. It's when you give the power away and abdicate it to other people, there's blame, guilt, shame, confusion, frustration, anxiety. But that's the reflection of you. Your life right now, all the results that you're creating is 100% result of, it's a reflection of who you are on the inside. So I really want you to get that, right? And we're not our thoughts. We're the thinker of our thoughts. And I want you to really think and write this down, right? Because we all think about the judgments from other people. We all have an innate desire to fit in and to be liked by other people. But I want you to really think about this statement, right? I am not who you think I am. I am who you think you are. So it's, do you know that saying, eyes, the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, right? It's whatever perception I choose. It's whatever filter I have. That's going to be an interpretation of who you are to me. And that's my own choosing. That might not be truly who you are. So I don't know you. That's most people, right? And that's their relationship. And another layer to that is we have a very filtered way that we show up in life. When I walk as a physical therapist and seeing patients, or a functional medical doctor, or I am, a registered dietitian or a yoga teacher, I walk in and I really have to put the hat on, and I have to put that showman's face on to show up to teach that thing. But that's exactly what I want you guys to really expand your minds, to really break down the barriers of that, and to think of yourself in a new way to say, I am a health promoting health practitioner. We all are. Whether you're a yoga teacher, a nurse, nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, physical therapy assistant, physical therapist, occupational therapist, registered dietitian, nutritionist, whoever you are, you're all health promoting practitioners. What is health anyway? Health is balance from within and out, in and out balance, right? It's body work balance. I'm sorry. It's work-life balance. All the things that we talk about, it's balance between who you are on the inside and how balanced is that, and how you show up in your life with how you are on the inside. Are you really, really putting forth what you want to put forth? Or are you just a technician who does and checks the boxes off every single day, doing the same thing over and over again? And then you step into your house and you put the mommy hat on or a dad hat on, and you play that role when you come home. Because that's a very empty life, right? How about if you love your work so much that it doesn't feel like work for you, because you're making such great impact in the lives that you serve? And that does require, the more you get to be identified within yourself, the more you realize that you and I are connected in this infinite potential. We have this universal infinite energy between you and I, consciousness, right? The energy that we share in this lifetime. Can we really truly stand together and make that energy a whole lot stronger so that we can serve more people? That's really the work that I'm inviting you to partake in. That's the movement that I believe so wholeheartedly. That's what I believe my Dharma to be. So whether it's money, health, making impact, having healthy relationships, whatever it is, it's possible only if you ask the right questions and begin your journey from a place of being who you want to be right now. Sounds so simple, yet it's so hard, because we are all conditioned and hardwired to think, feel, and do as we were indoctrinated. So in order to shift and change, you must commit. Surround yourself with the positive energy. You're the average of 5 people that you surround yourself with. Really take inventory of who they are and rethink who you want to be around. My environment these days, the people I surround myself with, they're my peeps. And I feel so energized. And I finally feel like I'm at home. And I love everything that I do. And I shared this with my staff on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, when I was at my center. Finally, the energy and the vibe in the studio or the center, I feel completely anchored and aligned, and it's really pushing out my core values in everything that we do. And if it's not, we continue to strive at it, and we have the sound people to make sure that that happens. You can have that too, to really have that connection with the work that you do, right? So surround yourself with the positive energy, get a good coach, enroll in a program that allows you to elevate your thinking constantly to be your best, right? Be who you want to be so that you can be empowered to do all the things you need to do and truly be the embodiment of what's possible. And making the impossible to I'm possible is the work you should be committed to no matter what. You guys are amazing, and I am so thankful that you guys are listening. Whoever it is listening, and I don't take your attention lightly in this crazy world that we live in. There's so much noise out there, so I thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for being here to listen to me. But I also want you to be committed to yourself and don't live a life in void. We only have so much time on this earth, right? And time, as they say, is only a construct. And so in that flesh of a moment, what legacy do you want to leave behind? So are you ready? join me. I invite you to our Yoga Mastery Workshop next week. The link is below. Sign up, and you don't want to miss it. I want to serve you in ways you never thought possible. And I want you to get real and really get connected with yourself and really get clarity around who you are and how you want to show up every single day and be that person, and then step into the role to make a difference in your life and leave the legacy you are here to leave. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys all